Everybody, it's Lyn from Lyn's Craft. As promised, I'm coming back today to share a tutorial of altering this book cover. It's just a sketchbook. I got it from Walmart. As I said, I've hoarded it for a couple of years. The cover color has bled through even the sticker, so I knew I wanted to do it in a something with black gesso to cover it up, to hopefully seal that dye layer in, and I was out of black gesso, so I just got some. So I'm gonna do something similar to this. It won't be exact, but I want to do like an explorer notebook type project. Alright, so I'm going to be using this same stencil from Prima. I'm sorry, from Andy Skinner. Alright. Alright, I've got some black modeling paste. This is from the Deco Art Media line. White modeling paste would work just as well. Texture paste, whatever you want to use. Alright, so I just got my plastic matte palette knife. And you could definitely tape the stencil down if you need to. I am going to go ahead and do the bit of the clock that falls on the cover. So I'm going to continue on with this, and I'll be back when I'm done. Alright, I did want to show pulling it off. Alright. Now, immediately take your stencil and go wash it off, or you'll be sorry. Alright. Little bit of a mess up right here, but I can easily fix that. As I can see, it is looks like a solid piece that was in the modeling paste. So it just lifted right off. Alright. Alright. Okay, I'm going to set this aside and let it dry. I'm not going to use the heat gun. I don't want it to bubble or anything, so I'll be back when it's dry. Okay, it's all dry. Now I'm going to add some texture through this. It's the Deco Art French script stencil, and I really just want to add it on the outside of the clock area. And weirdly enough, this time I'm actually going to use white. The reason why is because the black will kind of it will color the stencil just a bit. And since the script is kind of delicate, I don't want it to do that. Alright, so I've just got the Deco Art Dimensional Effects. I'm not even sure they still make this, but I've got it, so I'm going to use it. and it's basically just modeling paste. It's really light and fluffy. Alright, so I'm going to start down here. Like I said, this really won't be very much. Just something to fill in the gaps. Alright. And I'm even going to make you sit and watch all of it because there's so little. Alright, there, that wasn't bad, was it? Alright, and now the reveal. Sweet. Just what I wanted. Just a little bit at the top and a little bit at the bottom. Alright, again, I'm going to let that dry and then I'll be back. Alright, it's dry now. Went ahead and did a little bit on the spine and I did the back. Alright, so I've poured a few resin pieces just with some amazing casting resin. The Mod Melts mold, the one with the steampunk gears, and then the IOD molds, the I'm not sure what they're called. Object Labels 1. Alright. Unfortunately, I had to use this one because the others are too wide and the spine of the book is pretty narrow. That just barely fits. So I'm actually going to use a little glossy accents and some hot glue to glue this. If I can get my glossy accents to work. Alright, I did finally get it. Now I'm just going to use a little hot glue to hold it in place while it dries. Buddy, please stop whining. Alright. Alright, that's in place. And I'm also just going to glue a few of these cogs in some strategic places. Buddy, I just let you in. You're not being fair. Alright, something like that. Alright, I'll be back when this is finished. Okay, so I decided I needed one more embellishment, and this is the IOD mold Baroque 6. Alright, this one is just going to be an overpour. I've got a whole drawer full of overpours, trust me. Alright, so I'm going to let this cure for a few more minutes. I again did it with the amazing casting resin, and it literally only takes normally 5 to 10 minutes in warmer weather, but it's pretty cold here this morning, so it's taken a while. So I just wanted to share a little tip with you. When you remove the resin from the mold, it'll still be soft and flexible if you remove it soon enough. Don't wait for an hour. It's been like 20 minutes maybe. And then you can mold it around your surface. A little blue tape, a little painter's tape, will just hold it in place perfectly. Or in this case, it just will stick by itself. And then you can pop it off when it's set, and you've got a curved shape. It really, really works great. Alright, so just a quick tip. Okay, now I've got everything glued down where I want it, basically. And now I'm going to use the Art Extravaganza graphite texture paste, and it's by Finnabar. I love this stuff. First of all, it's gritty, and it dries almost black. But the reason I love it is because it really does add so much texture. So I'm going to add it around. I'm going to start on the edges. You can probably hear just how gritty it is. Alright, you can see the effect there. It really doesn't take very long to dry, and you can dry it with your heat gun if you're careful. It can bubble up on you if you try to hold your heat gun too close. Alright, so I'm just going to continue on adding some more of this. I'm actually going to add it around some of the elements as well. And on top. Alright. Now I'm going to be a little careful around the spine, just because I don't want it to block opening the book. Alright, so I'll be back when I'm done with this. Okay, don't panic if it looks like crud right now, because it probably will. And it does. But we're going to cover all that up. Once this is dry, I'm going to cover the whole piece with black gesso. So, I'll be back when it's dry. Alright, now I'm going to cover it with some black gesso. And this is the Art Alternatives. I was so going to try not to butcher the name this time. But anyway, Art Alternatives black gesso. And I just got this and I love it. It dries really fast. Alright, I'm just going to cover literally the whole thing. Alright, so I'll be back in a minute when I get done with this. Alright, here we are with it all gessoed black. Now on this little piece, I did the surface with Swelligant, which is a metal coating with a patina. I'm a little worried about trying to do it on the book because it's a very wet the patina is basically like water. It's very thin, and I'm afraid of doing damage to the book cover. So I'm gonna do a faux rust effect, and I'm gonna start with this pewter gray, and it's just an apple barrel paint, and I've got a stipple brush, so I'm gonna do a dry brush effect. Now I really, really, really want this stipple brush pretty dry. And I'm really just going to go over the whole piece with the gray. I don't want a solid coverage. I want a bit of the black left like around the cogs and stuff. So I'm just going to continue on until I've covered the whole book surface. Alright. Okay, I've got a base coat of the gray on. It is a little streaky, but it's mostly going to be covered up. So, I've now got some Americana in the raw umber, and I'm basically going to do the same thing. Alright, and I'm just going to again continue on till I've got the whole surface covered. Alright, now you can see how the raw umber evened it out a little bit. But you can still see the gray peeking through in quite a few places. So now I'm going to turn to the burnt umber as opposed to the raw umber. And again, I'm going to complete the same process, but I'm not going to cover the whole surface. Just hit and miss a bit. Alright, I'm going to continue on. Alright, now I've got this burnt orange Americana paint. I'm going to give it a try. It might be a little light. And again, I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to mainly hit the elements and the texture. I'm really going to want this brush to be dry. Now hopefully it will dry a little darker. Alright, now in this step, I'm going to add some primary elements in the nutmeg to a mini mister with just a couple of drops of the primary elements binder, so to speak, and some water. Alright, now I'm just going to mist this on and actually let it run. Alright, a little more around the details, and just let it run, and then I'm going to let it dry. Alright, here's how it turned out after the spray with the primary elements. It just really adds just a touch of shimmer over the whole surface. So we're going to finish the piece up with my favorite product, the Deco Art Metallic Luster. This stuff is fabulous. It's really similar to the Inca Gold, but it's got a much creamier consistency, and so far I haven't had any dry out. Alright, so I'm just going to get just a touch on my finger just to highlight the details. Alright, so I'm going to continue on and do this, and I'll be back when I'm done. Alright, what I've got here is just a cloth napkin that I picked up at a resale shop. And I've got one side where I do blues and greens, the other side where I do reds and golds. So, I'm going to pick the blue and green side for the silver. Just going to give it a light buffing. And as you can see, it really brings that metallic look right back up. Alright, so there we have it. I would probably do just a bit more, do some black in the recesses just a bit with some thin down acrylic paint, possibly let it run a bit. I may actually do that. So give me a minute. Alright, I've got some Deco Art Americana acrylic paint in the lamp black or ebony. Got just a drop of it out of my glass. I'm not sure if you can see that, but just give it a squirt with some water. I want it pretty thin. Maybe half a drop of water would have been enough. Alright. Just around the details, just to give them a little shadow and to make them pop just a bit more. even want to give the texture just a bit of shadow. Alright. Then just a squirt with my water bottle. Alright, then just a quick heat with my heat gun, just to dry the whole thing back off. Alright, now what we are left with is a book cover that looks like it's made of steel that's begun to rust. Alright. So really, really fun. It does look slightly different than the Swelligent one, but remember this one is an actual rust. Painted with the metal coatings first in the iron, and then the patina is put on so it will bloom. Alright, so a rather convincing facsimile, I admit, but you could also add just a tiny bit of the rose gold, would really be pretty. But it is a little similar to the rust color, so it will kind of cover up the steel look or the silver look. Alright, so there you go, an altered book cover with a faux rust patina. Alright, thanks everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'm going to start saying that more now. Thanks for watching. Bye now.